Welcome to Pest Control Unlocked. I'm your host, Konstantin Schwartz. Before we begin, a brief disclaimer. I currently hold no stock in Ecolab, Rollins, Rentokil, or any other publicly listed companies serving the pest control industry. While I am a former employee of Rentokil, any references I make are based strictly on publicly available information, including earnings calls, annual reports, and filings. The views expressed here are my own and are not investment advice. All right, let's get into it. If you operate in commercial pest control, you don't need an earnings call to tell you whether the market feels tight. You see it in labor constraints, compliance pressure, customer expectations, and the growing need to prove outcomes. But this Ecolab earnings call matters because it's not just results, it's a strategy briefing. It shows how one of the largest commercial platforms in the world is thinking about pest elimination as part of a broader operating system for facilities. And here's the core signal. Ecolab is positioning Pest not as a standalone root business, but as a connected, outcomes-driven layer inside a larger bundle. And they are scaling it aggressively in 2026. I'm going to focus on four things. 1. Pest is growing faster than Ecolab's core. It is being treated like a growth engine. 2. The one Ecolab bundling is widening from global accounts into regional accounts. 3. Ecolab is targeting more than 1 million smart devices in the field in 2026. And explicitly expanding beyond rodents into cockroaches with passive diligence. 4. They are monetizing digital as a billable product, and Pest is part of that narrative. Let's unpack this. In the prepared remarks, Ecolab broke down their Q4 segment momentum clearly. Food and beverage accelerated to 5%. Pest elimination accelerated to 7%. Now, let's add one external baseline that most industry professionals generally accept. The broader pest control market tends to grow in the mid-single digits around the 5% mark. So when a pest business is doing 7% inside a large diversified company, that's meaningful. And in the Q&A session, their CFO gave a key profitability anchor. Pest is doing really well, growing 7% top line with operating income margins north of 20%. And they expect to continue that trajectory. That combination, growth plus margin, is why Pest gets investments. The second signal is bundling. And in this call, bundling isn't presented as a tagline. It's presented as an operating model. Ecolab's One Ecolab initiative aligns resources around the facility and the enterprise customer relationship. They called out their top 35 global customers specifically. That group represents a $3.5 billion growth opportunity. They also gave a clean performance result. In 2025, sales growth with those top 35 global customers outpaced total company sales growth by about 2 percentage points. Then came the part that matters for operators. In 2026, they're expanding this model to their largest regional customers around the world. That's the structural shift, because it means bundling pressure isn't just a national account phenomenon anymore. It moves into the segment where many strong regional commercial pest operators compete: restaurant groups, regional hospitality, healthcare systems, and multi-site commercial portfolios. And that changes the retention conversation. Now, to the most explicit strategic commitment, connected devices. On the call, Christoph Beck said they expect to have more than 1 million smart devices in the field in 2026. This is a forward-looking target, not a completed milestone, but it's unusually direct. He positioned this inside Pest as a $3 billion cross-sell opportunity enabled by their One Ecolab selling strategy, a connected pest intelligence platform, and a goal of 99% relocation, their language, not mine. And they linked it directly to labor leverage, saying the technology frees up our team to spend more time driving strong sales growth while continuing to expand margin. That's critical. It implies a model where connected monitoring is not just a feature, it's an engine for sales productivity and margin expansion. Now, for those who want the external industry context around that 1 million devices number, here it is, clearly labeled as external. The connected device story in pest control has been building for years. Rentokil has referenced an installed base around 500,000 connected units by end of 2024, built over time with 127,000 units added in 2024 alone. Anticimex has reported a similar installed base, again, accumulated over multiple years. So the scale Ecolab is targeting, more than 1 million devices in 2026, represents a potentially accelerated deployment curve relative to how the industry's other leaders have historically built their installed bases. Separately, on the hardware ecosystem, there are multiple OEMs and platform approaches in the market, including legacy and newer systems. and interoperability, device maintenance, and data integration become real operational constraints at scale. That's the context. Back to the call. Ecolab also signaled expansion beyond rodent-focused devices. In prepared remarks, Beck said they're expanding beyond our rodent-focused smart devices with a new smart solution for cockroaches, extending the reach and impact of our passive diligence platforms. This matters operationally because rodents are episodic, cockroaches are persistent. In many commercial accounts, roaches drive inspection frequency, compliance stress, and brand risk. They consume technician time in a way that is hard to scale without compromising margins. If passive diligence becomes real, meaning you can verify monitoring and only send technicians where activity triggers response, then you're changing route economics. And Ecolab is explicitly tying this to productivity. Frees our team to spend more time driving strong sales growth. Now, I want to mention one element from another set of investor materials because it captures the strategy in one image. This is not from the earnings call itself. It's from Ecolab investor materials, describing their connected pest intelligence narrative. The concept is a before and after labor model. Today, the pitch is that technicians spend the majority of time checking stations that show no activity. In their model, they frame it as 95% of the time spending on checking and only 5% on growth activity. In their future state vision, connected monitoring flips that, and they show the inverse, 95% of time allocated towards selling, growth, and value creation, because visits become exception-based rather than routine checking. Now, I'm not presenting those percentages as audited field reality. I'm presenting them as the internal model that shows what Ecolab believes the end state looks like. But strategically, it reveals their intent: transform a service fleet into a hybrid service and sales machine by reducing low-value monitoring time. Finally, connect Pest to their broader digital strategy. Beck described Ecolab Digital as nearing $400 million in annual sales, growing more than 20% in 2025, and he suggested it could grow about 25% in 2026. He clarified that this digital revenue encompasses two components: connected hardware and software. And he laid out what he calls the 100-100-100 framework. 100% of customer locations connected, 100% of applications connected, 100% billable offering. The strategic point: Ecolab wants customers paying for visibility, not just service. That's relevant for Pest because once commercial customers adopt paid monitoring and dashboards, the expectation becomes the new standard. Now, it's important to stay analytical. Scaling connected devices is operationally hard. It introduces maintenance logistics, battery cycles, data quality, technician training, customer onboarding, and integration complexity. And bundling does not win every customer. Many smaller customers still value flexibility and local responsiveness. So execution remains the variable, but the direction is clear. So what does this mean for operators? 3 strategic paths emerge. 1. Specialize. Go deeper where expertise and compliance matter more than bundling. 2. Integrate tech. You don't need 1 million devices, but you need credible connected monitoring and reporting for commercial accounts that demand it. 3. Win on agility, responsiveness, speed, relationship density. Large platforms struggle to replicate it consistently. What becomes harder is staying purely transactional because customers are being trained to expect connected assurance. Now here's the verdict. This call confirms Ecolab is pushing pest elimination toward a connected, outcomes-driven model embedded inside a bundled facility ecosystem. They reported 7% growth in pest. They described pest margins north of 20%. They tied Pest to a $3 billion cross-selling opportunity. They stated a target of more than 1 million smart devices in the field in 2026. They announced expansion beyond rodents into cockroaches via passive diligence. And they linked connected intelligence to freeing time to drive sales growth and margin. Whether every operational detail executes perfectly remains to be seen, but the direction is clear. And the biggest question for operators is not whether Ecolab hits 1 million devices. It's this: what will your commercial customers expect as normal by 2027? This is Pest Control Unlocked. I'm Konstantin Schwartz. In the next episode, we'll pivot to Rollins and compare how a pure-play pest model competes as the market moves toward bundled ecosystems and connected assurance. Thanks for listening, and I hope to have a better voice by next week.